to Huckabee.
Don't forget that next week Americans are being asked to join in a day to pray, Sunday, January 20th. No obligation to attend a particular church or synagogue, just a simple day to pray for our nation and leaders, regardless of their party or yours. Washington doesn't seem to be listening to us, so maybe, just maybe, they'll listen to God. By the way, there's a link for more information at MikeHuckabee.com, or you can go to adaytopray.com to join others who commit for a day to pray. The debate over the right to bear arms has sparked a heated national discussion, and it's produced a lot of notable quotables this week. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo addressed the issue in his State of the State speech.
It's simple. No one hunts with an assault rifle. No one needs 10 bullets to kill a deer. And too many innocent people have died already. And the madness now.
Well, if we're worried about people who are angry, there you go. And in the meantime, Vice President Joe Biden has been busy meeting with a range of groups about gun control, including the NRA, which released this statement after their meeting with Biden. They said, and I quote, "We were disappointed with how little this meeting had to do with keeping our children safe and how much it had to do with an agenda to attack the Second Amendment." While claiming that no policy proposals would be prejudged, this task force spent most of its time on proposed restrictions on lawful firearms owners, honest, tax-paying, hard-working Americans. It's unfortunate that this administration continues to insist on pushing failed solutions to our nation's most pressing problems. End of quote. The gun debate has unfortunately gotten off the track. When the governor of New York talks about you don't need 10 bullets to kill a deer, it's not the point. Folks, it's about protecting yourselves and your families. The Second Amendment is not to protect your hunting rights. It's to protect you when maybe the police are 30 minutes away. I understand people wanting to stop violence, but we have 100 million more guns in America in the past 20 years, and yet overall both the murder and the violence rate is down by half. I think when we talk about maybe we need a background check for everybody, I got a better idea. Let's have a background check for people who run for office, including being president, vice president, Senate, Congress, whatever. The president nominated former Nebraska Republican Senator Chuck Hagel to be the next Secretary of Defense. Now, the pick has faced a lot of criticism because of Hagel's controversial comments about Israel and Iran in the past. One of the people speaking out against Hagel's nomination is former New York City Mayor Ed Koch. He said this, and I quote, "Frankly, I thought there would come a time when he would renege," speaking of the president, "on what he conveyed on his support of Israel. It comes a little earlier than I thought it would. It's very disappointing. I believe he will ultimately regret it," Koch said, "and it undoubtedly will reduce support for him in the Jewish community. But I don't think he, the president, worries about that now that the election is over." Well, thank you, Mayor, for your candor. The mayor's a Democrat. But we should be concerned about this appointment because of Chuck Hagel's soft attitude toward Iran, believing that we shouldn't apply sanctions, that we should have unconditional conversations with these terrorists, and that somehow maybe if we just make nice with them, they won't build the bomb, and point it at everybody but themselves. At the same time, while we're going soft, Senator Hagel has been one who's been rather harsh on Israel. I think he's got it mixed up. At least I think so. Finally, a South Carolina high school English teacher, Scott Compton, under fire for taking a lesson on symbolism a little too far. Here's how Maggie Copeland, one of his students, described the lesson plan.
He was teaching us about symbols, and he gave us examples such as a cross symbolizes Christianity. And then he took the flag, and he said that it was just a symbol of America, and it was just a piece of cloth with colors on it. And then he threw it on the ground and stomped on it.
Threw the flag on the ground because it's just a symbol, just cloth. You know, when General McChrystal was sitting here with me just a few moments ago, and I think about how many times somebody pointed a weapon at him trying to kill him because he was defending that piece of cloth, I don't think anybody has a right to stomp on it and still say that it's just a symbol. It is a symbol, but it's a symbol of something that is incredibly important to many of us, a symbol of a nation that has given all of us the freedom that we enjoy and the extraordinary lives that we get to live because we're living under that flag. Instead of stomping on it, we ought to pay the highest respect to it and all that it in fact does represent. Call that symbolism, but it's a symbolism of something of great substance and value. Well, while the gun control debate escalates in Washington and the rest of the country, maybe we ought to be focusing on violence in games and the media and the effect that it has on disgruntled youth. Coming up, youth ministers Russell and Sam Evans on how we can help young people find a true purpose. And then later, John Rich and Travis Perry jam with the Little Rockers. A lot more coming right here. Stay with us.